fourth grammar rule that they like to test is that of incorrect comparisons with comparison words like than, as, from, like. And if you're comparing things, you have to compare apples to apples and oranges to oranges. Here, Lynn Margulis's theory that evolution is a process involving interdependency rather than competition among organisms differs dramatically from most biologists. You still want to isolate the main subject and verb. So here, theory is, looks like the subject. And what theory? It's that evolution is a process involving interdependency rather than competition among organisms. So again, a lot of extra stuff. That's descriptive information thrown in to throw you off. So this is a subordinate clause. It has a subject and a verb, but it's telling you what theory they're talking about. So it's just descriptive information. The main part of the sentence is that the theory differs. So that's our verb. And it looks okay. Singular verbs. Take an S. Dramatically from most biologists. No pronouns. No parallel construction. So, but we have from here. And you're comparing things. What are you comparing? A theory differs from biologists. Well, you can't compare a theory to a person. So that's where the error is. Again, you don't have to correct it, you just have to identify it. The correct form would be differs dramatically from that of most biologists. That being a pronoun referring back to theory, from that theory. Another way to correct it is with a possessive. Differs dramatically from most biologists, with a possessive apostrophe. And it's understood it differs dramatically from most biologist theory. So it's okay to omit the theory in that construction. A fifth rule that they like to test is that of dangling modifiers, descriptive phrases or clauses attached to the wrong noun. The descriptive information should be closest to the noun that it's referring to. And here you want to ask who or what the phrase or clause is referring to. So here, spread by rat fleas, millions of people in medieval Europe were killed by bubonic plague. So spread by rat fleas is a phrase. Millions, noun, people, prepositional phrase. In medieval Europe, prepositional phrase. So it helps to know your prepositions. So it looks like this is the subject, millions were killed. So subject, verb, look okay, plural, plural, no pronouns, no parallel construction, or incorrect comparisons. But we have a phrase here, spread by rat fleas. Who or what was spread by rat fleas? Not millions of people. It was the plague that was spread, so that knocks out those. This is an ambiguous pronoun. So D and E look more likely. What was spread by rat fleas? Bubonic plague. Okay, so then when you're doing these, you want to read the entire sentence with the new part. So spread by rat fleas, bubonic plague in medieval Europe was why millions of people were killed. Versus spread by rat fleas, bubonic plague killed millions of people in medieval Europe. Well, that sounds better, and generally the most straightforward form that meets all the grammar rules is preferable. Just subject verb, bing bing. Whereas D is a little wordy, and the Y is also confusing. So if you ask, how do people make test questions? They start with the correct form, and then they have to find 4 incorrect forms, which often involve adding extra information. So often the simplest form is the preferred form. So those are the 5 most common grammatical errors that they like to test. Subject-Verb Agreement, Pronoun Agreement, Parallel Construction, Incorrect Comparisons, and Dangling Modifiers. Some miscellaneous things are adverbs. If it looks like an adjective but you can add ly to it, it's an adverb. So those investors who sold stocks just before the stock market crash in 1929 were either wise or exceptional lucky. So exceptional here is acting like a modifier of lucky. But how lucky were they? Well, exceptionally. So that's the error. It has to be an adverb. Adverbs can describe the verb, modify the verb, but in this case they can also modify adjectives, modifying lucky. Second, no matter how cautious plans are made, you must expect unforeseen events. Well, how are the plans being made? Cautiously. So that's describing the action. Some additional points on improving sentences. First, suspect longer answer choices. As we said, how do test makers make questions? They start with the correct answer, and they have to come up with 4 incorrect answers, which often involve making them longer. One way to approach them is to compare choices pairwise. Beware of certain words, like being, been, is because, is when, and the passive voice. In terms of pronouns, who is used with people, which and that with animals or things, where with place, and when with time. For example, if you say, remember where the villain appeared in the movie. Well, you're talking about time, so it should be remember when the villain appeared in the movie. Here are some common mistakes. Like is a preposition, not a conjunction. So if you can replace it with a conjunction, then it's wrong. Here, it rained like it would never stop. Well, it should be it rained as if it would never stop. Next, affect and effect. Affect is a verb. It means influence. Light affects me. The storm affected the game's outcome. Effect or effect is a noun. The effect was minimal. The storm had little effect on the game's outcome. Fewer is for countable things. There were fewer people there. Less for non-countable. There was less rain today. Between compares 2 things. Keep it between you and me. Among for more than 2. Among my friends he is the tallest. Accept means to receive. Please accept this gift. Except means excluded. Everyone except me liked it. And one way to learn things like this where there are 2 possibilities is to focus on learning one, and by default, if that doesn't fit in with the sentence, then it has to be the other one. Because if you try to learn both of them at the same time, it's that you're learning 2 words and 2 definitions at the same time, and then you could get things confused because you're learning them so closely together. You may be connecting one word with the other's definition. The 6 improving paragraph questions are at the end of the 25-minute grammar section, and they're about structure, the organization of a paragraph. You'll have a relatively short paragraph and 6 questions based upon it. And the types of questions will be things like, what is the best version of the underlined portion of sentence 2? And give you 5 choices. Or, in context, what is the best revision of sentence 5? Which sentence is best inserted before or after sentence 3? And what is best to add at the beginning of sentence 4? So again, these are not so much grammar, but the order and organization of a paragraph. Okay, so that's a review of the grammar part. of the writing section. And now we go on to the essay.